Hey gamers, and welcome to another episode of the EXL podcast. No stopping around tonight, let's just get straight into it. Aussie Gamer
G'day guys, how's things?
and Jay Adaloy from Drop Dead Interactive.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
So, the Microsoft press conference at Gamescom 2015 has just ended, and wow, what an epic lineup of announcements.
Look, I'll go first. Look, I think clearly Microsoft bought the games again. I mean, that's what we want to see from Microsoft. And I think if I look back on some of the games that really impressed me, Scalebound looks absolutely stunning. The destructive environments in Crackdown 3 look absolutely awesome, and finally we get a real sense of what the cloud can do. I think they said something like 20 times the computing power of a standard Xbox One, so I can't wait to see how that unfolds as time goes by. Quantum Break looked magnificent, and I have to say the game of the show for me was the Rise of the Tomb Raider game. That looked absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, certainly did.
I think I'm going to start off backwards and say the game that I didn't like the most, just to throw it out there, and it'll probably be the last one that we saw, just because we didn't get to see any gameplay of it. But all the games were just absolutely amazing. So if that is going to be the worst thing I could say about that lineup, then that shows you how great the lineup was. And I came away from that lineup saying to myself, that was the best games lineup I've ever seen, not for just Microsoft, but for any games lineup ever. Because it was just, for me, bomb after bomb after bomb. And earlier we was talking about Scalebound, with myself, Bella and Warrior, and we were just kind of contemplating as to what game it could possibly be. And I can say I was honestly surprised by what I saw, because I didn't have much information on it. And, I just went in with an open mind, and I really loved what I saw. And then when they dropped it would be, have 4-player co-op in it as well. I just thought, wow, this game just looks so amazing. And it sort of shouted out to me. It was a nice contender for PlayStation 4's Horizon game, because that's got that sort of the robot dragons and stuff like that in it. So that was a good matchup there. But Crackdown, I have to admit, I'm not really a Crackdown fan. But what I saw, it sort of resembled Crackdown, but then it had something new and fresh for newcomers. So again, really surprising by what I saw with that, and definitely interested to see, especially with all that destruction that was going on. I think I'm going to have to sort of rewind back and just take another look at it. But for me, game on the show was Quantum Break. That game looked amazing. I just love Remedy games, and just what I saw, that's a day one purchase without a doubt. And yeah, the lineup altogether was amazing.
So what I'm hearing from you right now is, Bella, you were correct a couple of days ago when we podcasted, and you asked me what my idea of Scalebound would be.
Yeah, it's just, that's what I'm saying. I was watching it, I was just like, wow, yeah, she was right with, like the scale of the world and everything like that. But it was just that, it was one of those situations where I didn't want to overhype myself just in case I got it wrong. They just did everything right. And even with all the drama that went on with Twitter, with the developer of Scalebound, nothing could rain on what was happening. Yeah, it was just really, really good. A pleasant surprise all around.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed what I saw of Scalebound, but there was one other standout for me, and that was that Ark Survival Evolved.
Yeah,
that
definitely looked like the Sony game. What was it? The Horizon game. I mean, there's similar sort of elements. I'm not sure it's going to be quite as good as Horizon, but it certainly looked pretty similar with real dinosaurs instead of steel ones. So
I know it's much like Rust and what's the other one called? DayZ kind of thing, where it's about survival and all that kind of stuff. The point that sort of really piqued my interest was right at the end, where I saw that giant spider thing, and then the guy had the shotgun, and I just thought, oh, okay, they've upped the level here because now it's got guns. So I had that real sense of Call of Duty FPS moment there, and I was like, okay, now you piqued my interest, because before I was like, this game looks good and stuff like that, but when it comes to games like survival and stuff like that, especially in games like DayZ, it's quite hard to survive, especially with other human players, because the first thing people want to do is, they want to take all your equipment. So, you get kind of, for me, I got put off by that. But, it's sort of, open up another angle to it. So I was quite surprised by that game. I'm just surprised by everything today. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the heat and everything's just shocking me. But
Yeah, look, I definitely think there were a couple of surprises in there, but I think, if I'm being honest, a lot of it was relatively predictable. I mean, I don't think they showed a significant amount of new games that we didn't really know about. I mean, there were a couple there, like the big announcement at the end of our Halo Wars 2. I think that was pretty huge. And we got to see some games that we haven't seen before, like, Homefront: The Revolution. We knew it was coming, but to actually see it looks pretty awesome. So, things like game DVR, chat pad, that sort of stuff. It's interesting, but we kind of had an idea that that sort of stuff was coming.
Yeah, especially because the chat pad was. It was in the old pad, and it's kind of like, why didn't I have it from the start? Because that's something that I've been missing anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. But I understand what you mean with the whole it was predictable stuff. But sometimes the best things are the ones that we're expecting. Just that they weren't giving us enough information on it, and stuff like Crackdown. Everyone knew Crackdown was coming. Everyone knew Scalebound was coming, but to actually see the games, right there in front of us was amazing.
Yeah.
Bella, what did you think of the whole Quantum Break TV stuff? Did you remind you of that TV series called Fringe?
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit. I think it's going to be great, though. I was really excited to hear that all of the 360 games that will be announced in Games for Gold from here on in will be backwards compatible, though.
Yeah, absolutely. That's 4 free games every single month. That's pretty damn awesome. I've got the feeling, and Microsoft didn't really announce it today, but they're kind of doing that with the Gears of War stuff, where every time they release a new version of a game that kind of existed on the 360, I reckon they're going to just bring out the old game as part of the value add that they're going to have on the Xbox One. So that's a good little deal.
Oh, absolutely.
No, it's definitely a good deal because, I mean, with all these games, people are going to be really broke. So to give us free games, it at least makes up. It at least makes up for it.
Right.
Yeah, you're
hundreds of dollars there. Hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
You're definitely right. Like, if you go through that list of games that are coming, you've got Sea of Thieves. You go, yep, I'll be buying that. Gears of War 4, yes. Quantum Break, yes. Crackdown 3, yes. Recall, yes. Scalebound, yes.
Mm-hmm.
We've almost spent, $600 right there. So just crazy money. And,
I mean, hell, let's just mortgage out on a house or sell a car or something, because these games, wow.
And that doesn't include the multiplats, Call of Duty is coming.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the announcement tomorrow of the Call of Duty esports and getting to see a little bit more about Black Ops 3, because you guys know me. Anybody who's listening, you know me. Call of Duty is my jam, so yeah, I'm pretty excited about that.
So what did you think of the whole Halo 5 multiplayer? I mean, how does that compare to Call of Duty for you?
Look, you can't really, like, anybody who plays Halo in multiplayer and Call of Duty in multiplayer, you really can't compare the two. Like, yes, there are significant similarities, but the two are so different.
Yeah,
and
I think
that's why
that's
the pair
true.
of them are great.
Look, I must admit that when it comes to Halo and that whole Halo world, the campaign mode for me in Halo is the part of it that I love. I don't tend to dwell towards the multiplayer that much, because I think for me, Call of Duty has got me wrapped up from a first-person shooter multiplayer point of view. Jay, I wanted to say, though, to your point about the predictability factor, you're 100% right. Look, Microsoft said they were going to talk about Quantum Break, Crackdown, and Scalebound at this event, and you know what? They absolutely did, and they certainly delivered in terms of the content that they showed us.
Yes. People just kept saying, like Xbox got no games, and, they've been saying about how they've not pushed out anything sort of during, the summertime and anything since, when was it? Like maybe January, February, and stuff like that, and say, they always come with the holiday hits and stuff like that. But, hopefully this is going to change, and they're going to space out a lot of these games, which I think they're going to do with, Quantum Break and stuff like that. But if I'm honest, I'd rather wait for the quality of these games. I don't want any more rushed games.
Yeah.
So, if they're going to take their time with it and it's going to perform well, because that's the thing with a lot of these games, you wait so long for them, and then they turn out to be flops, and then you just feel to yourself like, I've just wasted that money. Like, big one for me was Evolve. I love my shooters, and I love the whole idea of getting into a party, chasing down this big monster, and all that. The other day I wanted to Evolve with another mate, and we could not get into a game because we could not find a party. it just took so long that after 15 minutes of searching, we just gave up.
Yeah.
And things like that where people are put off playing a game and stuff like that, that's what kills the game. So for me, if they need to take their time and wait for it to come out on holiday and stuff like that, then just do it right. And with Quantum Break, they gave us a bit of information, but then they changed it, and now it's got that actor in it. I've seen a couple of these films, and yeah, he's quite a good actor. So I'm hoping the fact that they've done all this with Quantum Break and they've pushed it back and they've added in these extra features and stuff like that, and now it's got a show that I can watch with my wife and kind of try to trick her to play some games with me. Hopefully.
Hey Jay, you're probably excited by the whole Windows 10 and Xbox One, I guess, unification of gaming, where if it comes out on Xbox One, it's coming out on Windows 10. But I must admit, as an Xbox One or an Xbox core gamer, I'm probably a little bit apprehensive about the sharing of games between Windows 10 and Xbox One. I probably would have preferred a little bit more exclusivity on Xbox One before it went to Windows 10. But that seems to be changing. What's your take on that?
I mean, this is something that I've sort of spoken to people about, and as you say, from my perspective as a developer, it's good because then it gives me that a bigger range of customers to reach out to and get to play my games. So I don't have to say, okay, it's only this console can play it and stuff like that. So more people to play it for me is always a better thing. But yeah, I mean, I was hoping there was going to be some kind of announcement, because there's been a lot of talk about this whole PC gamers are getting the same games. They're getting Xbox Live, console gamers are paying for it, blah, 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 that kind of thing. And I was kind of feeling like, is there going to be maybe a bit of talk about that? Maybe there is, in the week and stuff. And even when I'm playing on the Xbox app, my PC Xbox app looks way better than the console Xbox dashboard. I know we're getting the upgraded version of the dashboard and stuff like that. I don't know, for me, it just at the moment feels better playing on my Xbox on my PC, just because it just goes nicely with everything else. But like I said, the whole dashboard upgrade may change that and just make it a much more smoother experience. But I can see where you're coming from, man.
Yeah.
It would be nice to kind of say, okay, these games are going to the Xbox One and they're never going to come to to the PC and stuff like that. But I don't know, it's a double-edged sword, I think, because we're trying to get PC players as involved as possible.
Yeah.
But then, how do you do that without kind of pissing off the console gamers that have been so loyal to you throughout and are actually paying subscription fee for your service, even though it's a great service, but you got to sort of think about it from both sides of the fence, really, and it's going to be a tricky one for them. And I'm really hoping that sometime this week that kind of gets addressed, just so that they can nip it in the bud before it sort of snowballs into this whole PC versus Xbox type thing. Because really, what we want is one big harmony of games just being played everywhere. So.
Yeah, well, it sounds like that's where they're headed, or at least that's where they want to head, which is pretty good. Look, the UI, the user interface, is coming November 10. I think it's November.
Mm-hmm.
So that looks pretty cool. I can't wait for that, because I think one of the issues we've had with the Xbox One is a pretty sort of slow response rate when it comes to the user interface. So to see that a lot faster, I think that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I think that this comes back to something that I've raised many, many, many times, is that gamers who play on any Microsoft platform now need to understand that we're headed in a new direction. We are now a part of a much larger ecosystem that is trying to integrate mobile phones, tablets, PCs, consoles, the entire HoloLens. Like anything that can run on that integrated API will now be a part of this ecosystem. And it's exciting. It's amazing to watch this technology evolve. And we need to just stop complaining that something may not be exclusive to our particular piece of plastic and just be excited that the technology that we're using the game on is evolving.
Now, speaking of technology, and sorry, Jay, I don't want to interrupt there, but I was just wanting to get a little bit more information about DirectX 12 and the impact that would have on the Xbox One, but they still seem to be pretty hush-hush about that.
Yes. I mean, the demo looked amazing, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw it, because I'm sure I've seen that demo before at GDC. So personally, I was like, they're gonna actually do something. They're gonna tell us what DirectX 12 is gonna do to the Xbox, or what it's not gonna do, or do you know what I mean? Give us a bit more clarity on it. And I mean, ideal situation for me is just to clean up a lot of these stories that have loose ends, and give people the right information and stuff like that. And again, this could have maybe I'm being a bit unfair here, and because these are the things that I want to hear, so I've got a clear sort of path for my future and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I suppose what they really wanted to do was come away with saying games. We threw a bit of TV in there, but games, so that at the core is satisfied. And I think maybe what they've done is line themselves up so that within the week they can bring out some announcements about some of these things. Because it just doesn't make sense that they will announce the DirectX stuff and then just sort of leave. You know what I mean? They just talked about it a minute and then left it.
Well,
so it seemed a bit...
they did that with Scalebound in 2014 at E3, and they got away with it until today.
Yeah, definitely. Look, one of the things that I am excited about, and I know I'm jumping around a bit here, is the ability to have not just cross-play but cross-buy. So if you buy it on Xbox One, you've got the ability to pick it up and play it on Windows 10 or vice versa. So I think that's pretty cool. If you buy one version of the game, it would be really awesome to have that version of the game available on another platform. I think that would be just awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, man, so I can't charge people twice. No, I'm just kidding. No, I think that was really cool because, I mean, one of the things I've always said from way back when I was at Res, and I saw people playing Shovel Knight on the Surface, I was like, oh my god, Gear Gauntlet would look amazing on a Surface. And that ability to, like you say, just play it at home, go off somewhere, to a friend's house or wherever you're going to take your Surface Tech, you can just continue playing and stuff like that. That is amazing, and especially with the whole, project your Xbox to another screen and stuff like that. Means I can sit in the front room with the kids, give them the iPad to play, and I'll be on the Surface playing the Xbox and stuff like that. So things like that to me just says, we're moving forward, as technology innovators and stuff like that. So I'm all for things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and Gear Gauntlet, like as far as mobile games go, I think that Gear Gauntlet could really find its niche on a tablet. I think it's going to do great on the console, but I think it could really be quite a niche game on the tablet as well. So that's quite important for you.
Oh man, I've been trying to think of ways to get the experience to be great on something like an iPhone and things like that. The trouble is because you hold an iPhone with sort of both your hands, so and it's quite touch based, so you don't want to cover up too much of the screen. So I'm still in the process of working little kinks out, but something like a Surface with a control pad definitely will work amazingly. So watch out for that one.
I've played Gear Gauntlet with a mouse and a keypad, and let me tell you, until you've got that down pat on a phone, I'm not even touching it because I'll just end up smashing my phone.
You're braver than me because I just stick to the control pad. I don't try to pretend I'm a PC gamer, but these are the things why I always say, with games, you can't just rush them. You have to get them right, because if you just try to shoehorn it onto a specific platform, people will know about it, and when it just makes you look bad as a developer, and then you get people on Reddit flagging your name everywhere. And I've never been on Reddit before, and if I'm going to be on there, then I want people to be mentioning me for good things. So you've got to take your time with this.
Hey, one of the weirdest announcements that I saw today was the inclusion of Rash from Battletoads into the Killer Instinct Season 3. That to me came right out of left field, and clearly Microsoft are just going to leverage the crap out of the franchises that they've got.
Well, why not? People are buying it. People love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It brings a whole different consumer. So a consumer that loves Battletoads, that may not have even looked at Killer Instinct, it might even bring them into to the world of Killer Instinct. So that's pretty cool. Surely they would be enticed by a game like Scalebound. To me, that kind of had JRPG written all over it to a certain extent.
Yeah, but it's that whole, they need more than one game to buy an Xbox. No one buys an Xbox just for one game.
Yeah,
well, actually, some people do, but
absolutely.
I wouldn't. But you just brought us back to Scalebound, and that game just looks so amazing. I didn't assume that the dragon would be fighting sort of AI controlled and stuff like that the way it was. I mean, I still want to see more of it. Just like I really, you watch it the first time and you're sort of there tweeting, "Oh my god, it's amazing!" You're not really paying attention. And I just need to go over it again.
Well, that's where you go and visit the EXL website where they actually already have
exactly.
an article up there with the full gameplay.
Exactly, and I can take my time with it and stuff like that.
You
But
can totally do that.
I bet you put on there, Bella. You like, yes, I was right, Jay was wrong.
Hey, it was also very interesting regarding some of the stuff that they didn't talk about today. So obviously there was no talk about HoloLens and some of the other games that they announced previously at E3. So they kind of left those to the wayside. So,
But I mean, they did discuss HoloLens more at GDC Europe yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah, apparently it's gonna start coming to developers within the year or something like that. I've put a request in, so maybe I might announce. Maybe I might announce something. Yeah, HoloLens. I mean, so many people are coming forward now and saying AR is the future, not VR. So it's going to be really interesting, and we're going to definitely need that one gaming app or just any kind of app really that sort of says yes, this is real. Because even after E3, you know, I was looking at a few of the articles and stuff like that, and people were coming away saying that the field of view is quite small, and
Yeah.
you know they still don't believe it, and blah blah. I mean, I can see further in that and how it can help in terms of medical stuff and you know missions to space and stuff like that. But is there a real use for it in the gaming industry? Possibly, but you know, is it one of those ones where you need a big living room to really fully experience it and stuff like that?
Yeah,
You know,
I'm kind of with
or
you. Yeah, I think I kind of agree with you. I can't actually see the gaming application for HoloLens at this point in time. So, really looking forward to seeing how they evolve that and really bring a consumer element to it. Because I think, yes, great for medical, probably great for industry. But from a gaming point of view, other than projecting a massive TV on your wall, I'm not 100% convinced yet.
I'm thoroughly excited for it, and I don't know, maybe I'm a daydreamer, but I can sort of see myself playing many single-player games. Like, I don't know, let's grab Borderlands out of the air. Borderlands, for example.
Yeah.
Playing that with HoloLens, because there's a lot of downtime, playing that game with HoloLens would be amazingly immersive.
Don't get me wrong, I think the potential's there, but I want to see how developers exploit that. I think it hasn't really been detailed other than Minecraft, which for me is not enough. Now don't get me wrong, I love my technology and I'll buy one, but I just want to see exactly what it's going to do.
Yeah, I agree with you because, like I said with Borderlands, would you be sitting down whilst you're using this HoloLens, or is it something that's going to need you to stand up and like you're the Minecraft demo, you have to sort of turn yourself around the different angles and get, to lift things up, blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I mean? Can you see yourself doing that in the middle of a Borderlands game?
Don't bring common sense into this conversation, Jay. No, I could not. But I do think that the application for games like that is where we're going to start off with. That's where we're going to see it primarily launched, and it is going to be a lot of fun, and I am really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I could possibly see it being good use maybe in a game like Halo Wars, because again, that's quite slow-paced, tactical, moving a few units around, maybe zooming on some, check out the stats of another set of units and stuff like that.
I tried with Halo Wars. I tried so hard. I want everybody who is a fan of Halo to know I tried. I couldn't do it. I hate Halo Wars, I'm sorry.
Yeah, though I didn't mind it. I think the other thing you've got to remember about Gamescom is it's clearly targeted towards a European audience. I think the introduction led into that without doubt. And the leveraging of the newly announced FIFA bundles, I think, was clearly a play for the European market.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, FIFA. Oh, I need to get myself some FIFA this year.
Which bundle are you going to buy?
Well, I've got quite a few Xboxes at my house already, so I can't buy any more bundles. Not enough electricity in my house. I'll probably get like the ultimate, just the game pack thing. Get that because I've got a few of my friends that we all like to sort of do the whole FIFA thing and do the online stuff, tournaments and things like that. So yeah, FIFA's always been a real big thing for me from back. I used to play the original FIFA, way back in the day, and I never went to PES. I'd always stayed loyal to FIFA. So yeah, I always make sure I get a FIFA game every year. Last year I actually got it on a PlayStation 4 because I just wanted to spread my games onto different platforms.
Yep.
And I hardly ever played it because none of my other friends had the PlayStation 4 version of FIFA. That was a bit of a shame.
Well, that's what it's about, you know, playing with your mates. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's just, you know, getting a good community. But yeah, no, football games is definitely good, and you know, I really think that after today's briefing and well, just after this week, I really think Microsoft could, you know, turn a few heads in Europe and, you know, get a lot of people on board because they're just giving away so much at this point. It's not even like it's a lot of crap. It's good quality games that they're giving, and you know, just as a
Definitely.
gamer in general, you're getting so much. So it's a good
Yeah,
time to
look,
be a gamer.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, just look at the Gears of War Ultimate Edition. You know, you buy Gears of War Ultimate Edition, you get the original Gears of War 2, Gears of War 3, and Judgment. So, I mean, there's a huge package of games that you get just for spending a little bit of cash on the Ultimate Edition. So there's like 5 games for the price of one.
Oh, you can't go wrong.
No, absolutely not.
And there you have it. So, did either of you miss Sony at Gamescom?
I don't think so. I mean, Sony's really shown us already what they're going to deliver in 2016. Because a lot of their E3 presentation was really about the future as opposed to the next 6 months. So that's probably the contrasting thing between Microsoft and Sony at E3. So there was really no need for Sony to show up because, you know, pretty much for the balance of the year and in the foreseeable future, it's about their multi-plat deals plus some far-off exclusivity. So, you know, I didn't miss anything from Sony's point of view. They've got the runs on the board at the moment, and Microsoft are playing catch me if you can. So,
You mean you didn't want to see more of The Last Guardian?
No, especially after I saw Scalebound, and I don't know enough about The Last Guardian to compare it properly to Scalebound, but I mean that was
After
one.
9 years.
Yeah, look, the Last Guardian is some sort of The Last Guardian is some
It
sort of
literally will be
chicken.
The Last Guardian because we will all be dead and gone by the time that hits our consoles.
The Last Guardian chicken dog. I mean, beyond the chicken dog, I don't actually know what you do. I know it's some sort of puzzle exploration game, but you know, even Sony hasn't probably described enough of that game for me to know that I want to buy it. So that's probably the only thing that I'm looking forward to. But that'll come. I know they're doing something in Paris, and they've got Tokyo Game Show. So I think even Microsoft today was probably a little bit more conservative than they could have been, just because we don't 100% know how things are going to unfold from a Sony point of view at either the Paris Game Show or the Tokyo Game Show. You've got the Xbox 360 with gold all being backwards compatibility, so the Battletoads special character coming to Killer Instinct, Bloodstained, Worms, if we needed another Worms game, Thimbleweed Huck, Ark Survival, We Happy Few, Cobalt from Mojang, Dark Souls 3, Homefront, FIFA 2016, Halo 5 Guardians multiplayer, more of that, Just Cause 3, Forza Motorsport 6, Rainbow Six Siege, Halo Wars 2, and then there was all the other little bits and pieces like, you know, a little bit more about DirectX 12, Windows 10 DVR, crossplay, cross-buy. So there's a whole heap of stuff there, the chat pad, I mean, and then the DVR stuff for free-to-air TV. So that's all pretty cool. I mean, it's a jam-packed agenda that they threw in there.
No, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. It was an amazing lineup. Nobody can argue with it. They did a great job yet again, as we expected. So, yeah, well done, Microsoft.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a point on, you know, the question you talk about with Sony and stuff, and I think it's, you know, what we was talking about the other day, Bella, where you're bringing up, you're announcing these games, but you're not showing us anything. So therefore, we're just having to guess what the game is, and then by the time it comes, and it's either we've either lost the hype for it, or, you know, stuff like that. And I think that's kind of what Sony needs to avoid at this point, because they just keep announcing games, but they're not showing you anything about it, or, you know, it's in development for so long and stuff like that. So I think it's really good that they didn't show up to Gamescom, because, you know, if they were going to show us the same thing that they've already shown us, then that would just be, you know, it would be damaging to them, if anything. I mean, stuff like Horizon, it would have been nice to have seen some gameplay, but maybe it's just that they don't have any gameplay to show right now. And Last Guardian, I don't want to see anything from Last Guardian. I just want to be told it's out and available, and that's it. Because what we saw of that game was what we saw like years ago, and it's just taking up too much sort of airtime, if you ask me. But yeah, it'll be interesting, this whole Paris show. I know what it is because obviously you get invited to these kind of things as a developer and stuff.
Well, please fill us in.
Well, I mean that's the thing. I've been invited, but I've never gone to it because you get invited because they want people to come and stuff like that. But you have to remember that sometimes most people that do show up at places, they pay to be there, so it's not always that you get there for free. But yeah, so maybe they might go to this Paris show. Because it's so unexpected and what's going to be there, they might blow the roofs off, and really put on a really good show, But I mean, as we keep on saying, it's all great for the gamers because we want games to play, and if they keep bringing it, it doesn't matter what camp it's in, it's all games,
Exactly.
And it's an amazing thing, really, and I'm just so happy to be part of it, and that's kind of why I said to you, it would be, it's amazing that you're letting me sort of speak on your podcast and stuff like that, because anything to do with games just makes me happy, and I just want the business to keep on going and stuff like that. So yeah, so hopefully PlayStation do their thing, but it's Gamescom, it's Microsoft's week. I'm really sort of excited to see what more they have to sort of show us, because they've got the whole Xbox Dailies thing. So hopefully there's going to be some new more exclusives, or just some more bits and pieces of games that they're going to show and stuff like that. Yeah, really looking forward to what else they have.
I mean, the other bits and pieces that are interesting that obviously weren't discussed today are games like No Man's Sky. I know that's kind of a console launch exclusive on the PlayStation 4, but there's all sorts of rumors flowing around that that'll make its way to the Xbox One, as well as a game like Rocket League, which is absolutely a phenomenal game on the PlayStation 4. So look, it's all in front of Microsoft, that's for sure.
I heard Rocket League was I saw an announcement saying that the developers are 100% thinking about other platforms. So that kind of says to me it's coming to other platforms.
Yeah, and why wouldn't it be a success? They gave it away for free.
Yeah, I mean, the guy with No Man's Sky is kind of... it's really weird because the guys that made No Man's Sky, Sean Murray, he actually went to my university, and I've actually met him because he came in to kind of be like, you guys can be doing this as well, kind of thing. So that was quite cool. But that game started for me out as this amazing technological sort of experience that they will bring in and stuff like that. But after the IGN first, I've kind of just walked away from that and been like, yeah, I think I'm going to pass on this one. Because aside from sort of, everything that's going on in terms of the brilliant mind you needed to sort of create that type of game, which means that for future games that, like, can you imagine Destiny being built on, a world that could coexist in No Man's Sky, sort of built up in this, infinite amount of universes and stuff like that. That would be amazing, in a Destiny universe, rather than having these 3 planets we can visit and grind to death type thing. But
the problem is that no one would ever leave there. If they landed in Destiny, they would never leave there again. They would always be searching for those goddamn Ascendant shards.
If you said if each planet had a limited resource, you would have to leave, because you would have to go to other planets to go and steal their stuff to bring back to your area, and blah 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 and stuff like that. So there's so many different things you can figure out to
absolutely
spice up and stuff
You'd
like that.
like to think that, but then you get stuck needing one more Ascendant shard to upgrade your armor to level 32, and you will never leave.
It's kind of like this generation is open world, but next generation could be open universe. Who knows?
Yeah, well, exactly, and hopefully it can get to a point like that. But like I said, in No Man's Sky currently, all you could do is kind of just walk around and shoot weird creatures. So there needs to be more interaction with other people, I would say.
Right. Yeah, I agree. The world definitely seems empty, doesn't it? Like there definitely needs to be some degree of I guess human element where you run into your mates, or there is some sort of competitiveness there. Otherwise, you're on your own exploring the vast nothingness of space. So
I mean, social gaming has come to such a big area where it's just, it's expected, even if it's local co-op or local multiplayer and stuff like that, or if it's online. We've just come to expect that there should always be some element of social gaming, and if it's social in terms of I found a planet, I enter it into a data center, then I check to see if I was the first person. That's kind of boring. That's just, I don't know. It's not the type of game that I want to play. So yeah. But I mean, maybe we don't know what there is to know about the game, so we still have to wait. But it's definitely an achievement, that game. But it's just whether it's a fun achievement is the real question, really.
It's fun right up until you realize that
it's not fun.
Yeah, he's just like, I thought that this is going elsewhere, and it's just not.
It's probably because it's like 2:45 in the morning.
Yeah. So before we get too much further, Gamescom 2015, 0 to 10.
For me, I'll give Microsoft a solid 8 out of 10. I think they delivered on their promises, which is to show games. And probably the parts that let me down were just a little bit too much talk about Windows 10. I know that there's a lot of hype around Windows 10 at the moment, but I felt that the conference got a little bit distracted by some of the stuff that's happening in Windows 10. But overall, a solid performance. Probably one of the better Gamescoms I think I've ever seen from Microsoft, certainly. So solid 8 out of 10 from me.
Well, for me, I think I'm going to have to go a bit better. And I don't usually throw these out randomly, but I'm going to have to give it a 10 out of 10 for me because
whoa.
I really found it to be the best. I found it was the best show I've ever seen when it comes to showing games, and with the Windows stuff again, that was a plus for me because as a developer, it's more opportunities. We get all this documentation and stuff like that, but sometimes it's easier to just watch someone talk about it and sort of get their sort of perspective on things. So for me, it was really good to sort of watch that. Yeah, I mean, I literally walked away thinking to myself, I'm going to be really broke come holiday. Because
definitely.
the games just looked all amazing to me. I couldn't really fault them because for me they ticked all the boxes. I don't know. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, for me it's a 10. What can I do?
Okay, a 10 it is. Just let me know when that check comes through from Microsoft.
Yeah, so the red dot's gone now.
Okay, so I am in two minds of this. I think that if you had asked me right at the end of the presentation, I would have an entirely different perspective on it. But now that I've sort of had a bit of a think about it and looked back on previous Gamescom and tried to put out of my mind how spoiled we were by E3, I'm probably teetering between an 8 and a 9.
Ah, there you go. Either way, I mean, that's a pretty damn good score.
Yeah, I think I really think they brought it. Like, they're really giving us everything they can.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that if PlayStation was to go next after them, they would have had to have put on a damn good show for it to have been any sort of comparison.
Oh, yeah.
Because we know that even though they showed all the good games at E3, people still said Microsoft lost. I don't know. If anything, I would have agreed if they said they drew, but for them to just outright say they lost and stuff, I couldn't agree with that. But
the way I see E3, I mean, if they'd have shown the stuff they showed today at E3 on top of the stuff they showed at E3, it would have been a complete knockout of the park scenario. It wouldn't have even been a questionable contest.
Yeah.
So the fact that Microsoft had so many games in reserve for 2016 that they could hold all of this content back for Gamescom, I think speaks volumes.
Exactly. It just like today was an extension of what was going on at E3.
Spot on.
Like I said, if they had shown it all together, we would have been left so dizzy from just absolutely the amount of information of games that was coming out, and it would have been just so crazy and quite scary, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, what they did today was just great, and Phil Spencer, he doesn't like to sort of take all the credit for it, but it has seemed like since he's been in charge, things have been looking pretty good for Microsoft in terms of the Xbox division and stuff like that, and and I have to actually give my hat off to Satya Nadella as well, because his whole vision, with the whole unification of Windows 10 and and all this and everything that's within the ecosystem as well. Again, it's just all coming together and really looking really good for gaming in general. So there's some really good people at Microsoft right now.
I'm currently doing something I probably shouldn't do, and that's reading the PS4 Reddit page. And some of the comments are hilarious. Like Scalebound looks a bit slow, doesn't it? Like, come on.
Can I tell you not a true story? I don't think I've actually used Reddit before, and I don't really get it. But because everyone goes on about Reddit this, Reddit that, and I just feel like, am I missing something? If I go on there, would I be like just absolutely blown away? Like, should I be on Reddit?
No, the reason I like it is because it's immediate, so it kind of has its finger on the pulse of what's happening. Some of it's trash talk, don't get me wrong, but a lot of the decent, true gamers, I think, go there to post valuable content that most people want to read. And to most of the comments' credits, they're pretty complimentary about what Microsoft has shown. I mean, there's one here that says, you know what, that was fucking awesome. So, there's a PlayStation just gone, that's amazing. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be interested to listen to some PlayStation podcasts just to see their reactions, because if you can get, if someone like, these PlayStation people watch it and they can actually come out and say, look, it was a good show, then you kind of know, the whole gaming part of it resonated with them quite strongly, because that's at the end of the day what everyone should be looking into these companies for, the games, not the actual company, because we're not shareholders or any of these companies, so all we got to relate to them with is the actual games, so that's what we should be looking at. But yeah, I'm interested to see what other people thought of it, because evidently my 10 was too high. So
we ended up with a 10, an 8, and a 9. So that's not a bad.
That's an average of 9. That's pretty decent. That's pretty decent. I think Microsoft will go away feeling pretty damn happy with their Gamescom. That's for sure.
Yeah, it makes me feel worse now, because they're going to be partying so hard tonight, tomorrow night, and I'm not going to be there because I'm on holiday with the family. And I've put my family first.
We're like getting your head on the opposite side of the world.
No, it's going to be great for them, and I hope there's more announcements in the week, because more games, especially indie games, cheap games.
You know what? The thing that was really cool is that the games that they announced are either coming out early 2016 or in the not too distant future. So that's pretty damn cool,
Exactly, and that's what I like. I don't want to be waiting 5 years for a game.
Absolutely.
Like, that's not even a shot fire at anyone, but it's just we don't want to be in the next E3.
Oh, we totally know you were taking a shot at the last time.
Well, I think if you love games and you love gaming, and clearly I have an Xbox bias as well, but you've got to get a PlayStation and an Xbox One, because you get both bases covered, and if you don't have a PC, then you should have one of them as well.
Yeah, well, I've got all the I say I've got all the machines, but I keep forgetting there's a Wii U. So
a Wii who?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I think it's time we wrap up. So unless there's anything else you gentlemen would like to add?
Just one thing from me, and that's the Rare Replay collection is absolutely freaking awesome. So it's a trip down memory lane if you're an older gamer. I'm playing games that I've never, ever even contemplated playing before. Games like Jetpack, which are just very pixelated, not a lot of content kind of games, but they are so addictive and so much fun. So if you haven't checked out Rare Replay, I definitely recommend that you go and check it out.
Or anything like that, you can catch me on the Twitter sphere at Bites of Chicken. I'm sure Bella will somehow give you some kind of information on as to where you can get hold of me. But yeah, come speak to me. Let's talk games.
Indeed. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining and sharing your thoughts on Gamescom 2015.